Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the up.
You're listening to Believe You Me with Michael the Count Bisping and Paul Felder.
The Believe You Me podcast, 2 weeks in a row. You know, come on.
We're spoiling him at this point. We're spoiling the believers at this point. No, man, it's good to be back. Here we are. Look at us.
2 weeks in a row, and we've spoken off air. There will be no travel bitching. Paul is leaving for Perth tomorrow. I'm leaving for England. We're not going to mention it.
No complaints. It's 32 hours of delightful apartment in the sky travel.
Don't do it. I'm leaving to England in a few hours.
No.
Anyway, as always, we have a tremendous show planned for you. There's lots of stuff going on in the world of mixed martial arts. There is fights going on in Perth this weekend. That's why Paul is flying a ridiculously long journey, traversing the world, business class. You can't bitch, Paul. There's people working 12-hour shifts, and they're right in the comment section. I see that. They are right. They have a point. It is hard.
They are right.
We're going to break down those fights. We're going to talk about them. We're going to make some predictions. Harrington's put some wild, crazy, weird,
good stuff.
A lot of non-MMA related stuff, a lot of MMA related stuff. We have some breaking news. And we also have the one and only Modestas Bukauskas joining us. Brian, I'm assuming that you sent the link to our friend Modestas. What a guy. So he'll be joining us. You'll remember Modestas Bukauskas just knocked out Paul Craig. The final second of the round in Paris. He's now on a 4-fight win streak. Prior to that, he snapped his leg. Remember, Khalil Roundtree just sidekicked the hell out of it and blew his knee out. And so we'll talk to him about all of that. And he's a really, really nice guy. Paul, before we do that, how the hell are you, my friend? I hear a little cough. Don't complain.
Yeah. I won't complain. It has nothing to do with any flying. It has to do with I thought I had a cold. When I got back from Paris. And I'm like, once or twice a year, I end up with like a chest cold and it lasts a little while and I work through it and it's gone. And this thing has just been lingering. The kids were sick, but then they weren't sick. And then Christine wasn't sick. And nobody's sick in the house but me. And I've got this annoying cough. You know how it is. Like one of those, it's not fun to listen to. And I do feel for my wife. What's that?
Is it tickly?
It's deep. It's like right here. And that's when I started to think something's up. So I went to urgent care today, which my wife has been trying to convince me to go to for about a week. And me being a typical dude about it, I didn't go. And I finally just drug my ass there today after waking up at 3:45 in the morning because I was waking the baby up who's sleeping in like a bassinet in our room. I was like, I don't want to wake her up. I don't want to cause that chaos. So I went and laid on the couch. Then I was going to just work out, right? I'm up early anyway. And I said, fuck, I don't feel good. I'm not going to work out. Went to the urgent care when everybody went to school. They did chest x-rays. I didn't even know they would do that at urgent care. That was pretty crazy. And yeah, I have bronchitis. The guy's like, yeah, you see this? Showed me a few dots in my bronchial area of my lungs and gave me some antibiotics and sent me on my way. So yeah, now I've got to deal with that while trying to work. So hopefully at least the antibiotics by the time Sunday rolls around and I got to talk for 14 fights, I'll be good to go. But yeah, that's it on my side, man. Just annoying illness that lingered for far too long.
And you're sucking it up. You're doing the show. You're not complaining. You just like, you're here, you're present. You're going to give it your best. I mean, come on. Jesus, you're a warrior, Paul. You know what I'm saying? No days off. No days off.
No days off. I did get a nap in though. I got a little nap in today. That's always a good day when you can get the little nap in.
You know something, without going on about it, because people don't want to hear people saying, I don't drink alcohol anymore. But I used to have a hardcore nap every single day because my day starts with a good workout, and then I do a few things, whatever I'm doing, the podcast or whatever. And then I would always lie on the couch and nap it up. And even though I was jet lagged to the max, I haven't had a single nap all week.
No.
And I haven't been
drinking.
Do
you feel better? Or you haven't been drinking?
I have not been drinking.
Well, that's why you don't need the nap. I know, man. I'm about to get on that train with you. I think after Perth, when I get back, because it's going to be tough to go to Australia and not have a little bit, but I got to be careful because I am on meds. I can't really overdo it. It's going to just kind of not let the antibiotics do their thing. Which is terrible timing. I was really looking forward to sinking some beers down in Perth, but they don't drink real strong beers there. It's light beers, I think.
You'll be fine. It's summer down there. You're going to get there. The sun's shining. The great people. The atmosphere is going to be popping. You know what I mean? You're just going to be like, give me a bloody cold one, mate.
Mate. Let me tell you, it does look like the weather is going to be perfect. Too.
It's Perth.
Like mid-70s. It's hot. It's hot all the way up until I get there. It's like 80 something, but then it's like 75 the rest of the week.
Nice.
And then it gets hot again after we leave. So that might change a little bit, but as far as at least what I looked up on my weather app right now, it looks like it's going to be perfect. Walking around, seeing stuff, hanging out outside. And I don't have pre-show, Michael. It's the first time in a while where I'm overseas like this and I don't have to do pre-show as much as I'll do it and take that extra check. You know how it is. Sometimes we got the pre-show on Friday. It's like, all right, it's a good day for research. That gets kind of taken away because then you kind of have to be ahead of the ball.
Well, I love it because you typically get the pre-show and I get the post-show. And I love the post-show because Friday I'm free. I have nothing to do. And then post-show, I just rock up to the desk after we've just called the fights and just BS for 30
Talk about the fights.
About the fights. And, whoa, that knockout was sick. Interview the main event or whatever. It's super easy. Anyway, let's talk about that fight card real quick, seeing as we're talking about it. Carlos Ulberg versus Dominic Reyes in the main event. This is crazy because this one's going under the radar. I don't know. What time are the fights in Perth, Paul? Because what time of the day will it be in the States? I think
it's
Sunday. Sunday morning.
Sunday our time in Perth, early at so I think it'll be evening on Saturday for East Coast and probably early evening on the West Coast.
Right.
It'll probably be good fight time.
Yeah. Carlos Ulberg, Dominic Reyes. That's got to be a number one contender matchup because obviously we've got Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev. They're throwing down in a couple of weeks. If Magomed Ankalaev wins, obviously he needs a new challenge. Pereira will not be entitled to discussions anytime soon. And if Pereira wins, he certainly needs new blood. Yes, there's Yuri Prohaska fighting Khalil Roundtree, and both of those guys, they're perennial contenders, if you will. But Carlos Ulberg is on an 8-fight win streak. Dominic Reyes is on a 3-fight win streak with 2 knockouts, which is a crazy comeback story for Dominic Reyes. I mean, remember, man got knocked out, what was it, like 4 times in a row after losing?
4 times.
And they were bad knockouts. And now he's back, looking better than ever.
Yeah.
And if he knocks out Carlos Ulberg, that's 4 wins in a row. And in a lot of people's minds, he beat John Jones. Where does that lie with you, by the way, Paul? You think Reyes beat John Jones?
I remember in the moment. Now, obviously, I haven't watched it back in detail. I wasn't talking about it with you back then when that fight happened. But I remember in the moment when I watched that fight, I thought Dominic Reyes won the fight.
I was
completely honest.
Yeah, I was in the building. I think I was working for Fox or ESPN, probably, whatever network it was. And yeah, I remember at that moment in time, I was like, wow.
He just did it. Yeah.
Reyes won that fight, right? And everyone was like, I think so. And then obviously Jones got the decision. Harrington and Brian, do you guys have an opinion on that? Let's talk about that real quick. And we're not trying to shit on John Jones, far from it. Just talking about the relevance of the fight this weekend. But Harrington, who won that fight between Jones and Reyes, in your opinion?
So I remember texting you that I thought Santos versus Jones was the biggest robbery of all time. And that was until Reyes didn't get the nod against John Jones.
I think I had the same reaction you did, which was, we just watched John Jones lose. I wish I would have put money on Reyes.
Yeah. Oh, dude, if you'd have put money on Reyes, that would have paid out big.
Yeah. He had to be a massive underdog, right?
4-1.
He had to be. Yeah.
Is that all 4-1? I would have thought more than that. But yeah, Ulberg, 8-fight winning streak. Who's he beat along the way? He's beat Volkanuz Demir, Anthony Smith. No, that was Reyes. He beat.
Oh, you're talking about Ulberg. Yeah. Well, Jan Blachowicz.
Yep. That was his last one, I think, right?
That's the biggest one he's had, I know for sure.
Yeah, the Ulberg Anthony fight got canceled. He's got Uzdemir, Jan Blachowicz,
Menefield,
Ihor Pereria.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. I think this slyly could be a number one contender matchup because, all right, if Pereira wins, and we know we said last weekend, What did he say last week? He said, "Oh, when I beat him, Magomed Ankalaev's title aspirations are done or whatever. If it's a close fight, they got to do a rubber match. Simple as that, right?"
Yeah. And I hope it is. I hope it is. I hope it's a good fight, because the last one, I remember thinking, I was hoping for more. And there's a lot of rumors that were going around that Alex Pereira wasn't really feeling his best. Whatever. No excuses this time, hopefully, and hopefully it's a bit more of a barn burner of a fight. And yeah, I agree with you, though. I think this is another case where whoever stands out, if they make a huge statement on Sunday/Saturday coming up this week down under, I mean, you could slide right in there. Like you said, we're always looking for a new challenger, somebody that hasn't been in there, especially when there's rematches that kind of happen like that in the division. When that gets settled, we want to see somebody new. We want to see something different. And Ulberg, I mean, he looks great. He fights great. He's on a crazy win streak. And shit, what better story than if Dominic Reyes pulls it off, especially to go down there in enemy territory, if he pulls off a big knockout to make it 4 in a row, especially a knockout. If he knocks him out, and that's 4 KOs in a row, after what he went through to kind of pull himself up by the bootstraps and get back in there, that's crazy, dude.
You know that most people in that light heavyweight division, though, probably want Magomed Ankalaev to win. Because, yeah, Magomed might be a tougher stylistic matchup for a lot of people, but it's just a new blood. It's a new champion. And none of them have fought Magomed Ankalaev. I mean, some of them have, but none of the big names. They've all had a go against Pereira. You know, Yuri's had a go. Khalil's had a go. All right, there's 2 anyway. But if Magomed Ankalaev, you know, becomes champion, he's got nothing but contenders. Carlos Ulberg, Khalil Roundtree, Jan Blachowicz, Jamal Hill, Dominic Reyes, Alexander Rakic. None of those have fought Magomed Ankalaev. Pereira hasn't fought them all either, but still. You can't make a prediction.
No.
I did a little YouTube video on this. It's one of those. I could toss a coin. I can make a case for both. Is Dominic Reyes much of a wrestler? I think he does have a wrestling background, and if he's smart, he would use it in this fight.
Yeah, but he's definitely more of a striker. I was actually just doing the clips for Ricci where we got to pull some stuff for the highlighters. And I watched him against Smith. I watched him in his last knockout against Krylov. And man, he did a really good job of forcing guys to kind of take away that negative space between them and opening up big counters with his left hand. And it started with the jab against Krylov, and he looks sharp on the feet again. I mean, he was more of a knockout guy his whole career. So I don't know if he will. But yeah, I think mixing it in, especially over a 5-round fight, he's a smart guy. He's had championship experience before, so it's a big step for
Ulberg.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's beaten top guys before, though. But anyway, there it is.
Yeah, he deserves it.
That's our official preview of UFC Perth. You know, we've got
there's not too much else to really talk about. We lost a fight and I think Tafa got injured or is out. So there's 14 fights, but there's a lot of newer blood, I would say, on the card.
There's some pretty good fights, though. Hold on. Let me look here. There's Jimmy Crew. This is a good one. Jake, hold on. Where's it? Jake Matthews, Neil Magny. No, not that one. Hold on. I can't see it. Oh, I'm talking about bloody Brazil. Because the Brazil card, I was just looking that up because I'm commentating that in a few weeks. That's lost its bloody main event. Charles Olivera versus Rafael Fiziev was supposed to go down. And there's a bit of drama unfolding right now. So Fiziev is out. He's injured. Charles Olivera's off the card. When you look at Wikipedia, he's not on there. Apparently, Benoit Saint-Denis said that he would have the fight, but then apparently didn't want to take it because there wasn't enough time, which I totally get. I totally understand that. Benoit Saint-Denis had a tremendous performance. He's got 2 wins in a row. He doesn't really want to fly down to Brazil on 2 weeks' notice. So then Oliveira comes out of the woodwork, talking shit, saying, listen, you guys, coming out, saying, I'll fight him. But then when the UFC make you an offer, you know where to be seen, or your pinky toe hurts, or whatever the case was, right?
Yeah.
Mateusz Gamrot has come out. Have you seen his tweets?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He says he is not injured, and he is saying yes, yes, yes to that fight. And he's like, I guess my style isn't what you want to face. You got to be careful. If you're Charles and you're talking all that shit about nobody wants to fight, and there's clearly a guy out there who's in the ranking that's saying he wants to fight, It's not a good look.
I mean, I understand why Charles was pissed off. You do all that work. You're getting ready for a fight. It's your comeback. You just got knocked out against Pereria. You want to eradicate that loss from the minds of the fans. It's in Rio de Janeiro. You know, it's your home country. You're Charles Olivera. You're a former champion. You're getting towards the end of your career. Rafael Fiziev, let's do it. Let's go. He gets injured. Then all of a sudden you've got no fight. I understand being pissed off at that. But the fact now that Mateusz Gamrot is like, hey, bro, I'll come down to your backyard and fight you. Let's do it. I'm not saying that Charles needs to kind of step up. What does that say?
Where's my opponent? Challenge accepted. Holding a rubber chicken.
Oh, I mean, it's actually a good matchup for both men, right?
Yeah,
for Charles,
that's what's crazy about it.
I don't think Charles is necessarily saying no. Have we seen Charles say no yet?
No, I mean, no. I again, and was it the other thing is too? We don't know, and the fans don't know what's going on behind closed doors with the matchmakers. Maybe they don't want that fight. You know what I mean? Maybe Gamrot saying yes, I'll take the fight all day, but they're not even offering it to Charles. I don't know. I'm not saying that's the case. It's a fight I would like to see. I agree with you, Michael. You want to talk about a grappling delight? That fight would be. It would be insane.
So Mike Bone from MMA Junkie, he was texting me yesterday trying to get me on his podcast. And I said to him, I can't because this month, tomorrow I leave to London. Week after I'm in Vegas all week. Then I go to Rio de Janeiro for a week. And then I'll be in Abu Dhabi for a week. And he responded with, whoa, 4 continents in a month is a stretch. He's right. We're not complaining. I'm very blessed. But anyway, because I mentioned Brazil, he said, oh, yeah, hopefully they get a good replacement. So we had a little back and forth about that. And he said he should get it, but he was supposed to fight Nazim Sadikov at the Apex Net main event November 8th. And I don't know if they want to pull him because it's another main event scramble. Now, I don't know anything about that. That's Mike Bone, MMA Junkie. Not throwing him under a bus, but man's got his finger on the pulse.
Yeah, knows what's up.
So I have a quote from Oliveira himself in an interview he did with Loretta Vienna. Oliveira said he didn't want to fight Gamrot because he spent his entire camp preparing for a striker, not a wrestler. Here's the quote: completely different from the style I've been preparing for. It's a good style for me because of the wrestling grappling part, but it's a completely different style from what I prepared for over a month, 2 months, you know?
When was that interview, Harrington?
Let me see. It was posted on YouTube a day ago.
Okay. Wow. So like yesterday.
So he has declined.
Sounds like it. Yeah, that's interesting, man. That's kind of surprising.
And here's why, again, as a former fighter, I get it. It's heartbreaking when these things happen and you've prepared and you do specific things in camp for certain styles, but it's almost the grappling is going to come to you, and now you can focus on your striking. And if it hits the mat, you were probably already preparing to do that anyway against a potentially weaker grappler in Fiziev and a better striker in Fiziev. But if you were already planning on getting this fight to the mat, now it's going to take place there and it's going to be gifted to you. Even if you don't want to work for it, you let Gamrot do it. He'll take you there. He wants to challenge you there. So I love Charles, but I do think that's kind of a weak excuse on why you don't want to take the fight. Just say you don't want to fight somebody. You know what I mean? I guess he is kind of saying it straight up.
Yeah. I mean, I will never sit here and criticize Charles Olivera. Career that he's had, the way that he fights. I mean, pure excitement, right? We all know. That is, I do find myself scratching my head a little bit at that, though. If I'm honest, I'm trying to be polite and respectful. I'm calling the fight. I'm headed down to Rio. Last thing I want is a bunch of Brazilians coming after me. Going, you're not in your studio now, huh? Porra, right? That's not what I want. I want to make it out of Brazil alive. So I will choose my words carefully. But Jesus Christ, Charles, just take the fight. Let's go. Because I want Charles Olivera on that card.
Yeah. I think anybody wants Charles on that card. And he specifically wanted to be fighting back in Brazil, right? That was the whole reason on the quick turnaround. We were all giving him kind of, I don't want to say shit, but, we're giving him a little bit of grief for turning around so fast after a pretty devastating knockout against Pereria. And it looks like he's going to have time to rest after all.
So the thing is, and Charles is 35. And when you get to a certain level, we are who we are as fighters. I understand this point, and fighters in general, when they say, I've been preparing for a certain style, I have a strategy, I have a game plan. But the skills that we all amass, by the time we get to 35 years old, we're kind of who we are. You know what I'm saying? At this point, we are the fighter. I'm not saying we can't still improve. We can't still, formulate a game plan, and you can't still brush up on your takedown defense or your ability to get back to the feet or get your triangles super sharp, whatever it is, right? Okay. But ultimately, you've got to be who you're going to be, right? You got to fight the way you fight. That's why I took the fight against Rockhold on 2 weeks' notice. And that's what Pereria said to me when I started having doubts. He's like, bro, you've been training your whole life. Do you know what I mean? Don't worry about the 2 weeks. You still run, you still work out, you'll be fine. So I do find myself scratching my head. However, there is another name that has been thrown into the hat. Number one in the notes. Good job, Harrington, although I did send it to him. There's a little link you can click on there, Brian. It might give us a little audio visual. It says, Charles Olivera is getting frustrated at not being able to find an opponent. Diego Lopez says that he will accept a short notice fight up a weight class if it means that he can fight a legend. Just when Diego Lopez can't get any better. I love this guy. Tell me you don't want to see Diego Lopez versus Charles Olivera, because number one for him is like, it's a freebie. Yeah. It's up a weight class.
Up a weight. Doesn't matter. Still keeps his ranking right there at 145. And he's younger. He's just insane. And he's so good on the ground. Like, if it becomes a battle anywhere, really, I mean, he just fought John Silva, who is kind of potentially a younger, scarier version of what Charles brings to the table, and kind of like him in some ways with how dangerous he can be on the feet, how good he can be with submissions. And he just beat him. I'd rather that fight than Gamrot.
No, so would I. No offense to Gamrot. Take my money. Diego Lopez, after what he does in every single one of his fights, to knock out Jean Silva in the way that he did. And then 3 weeks later, say, I'm stepping up a weight class and taking on Charles Olivera in Rio. I mean, come on, that's legendary shit right there.
I tried to take a short notice commentary job down in Brazil with you. I pitched my pitch when we were in Paris, and I got shut down. They're keeping it a 2-man booth, just the two of you guys.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Who is it? Me and who? Brendan? Yeah, probably. Me and Brendan. That's it. Geez, I better do my research for that one. Yeah. Because sometimes when it's a 3-man booth, you know what I mean? You can say
it's divvied up a lot more.
Yeah, I give you the little tap on the arm, don't I? It's like, as I'm finishing my point, Paul, pick it up. I do that so there's no dead air. You know what I'm saying? So it seems smooth and it works. But
I like that we have a communication too on, like, if I've gone a little long on a guy or vice versa, we'll be like,
just keep going. Take it.
Because if it gets tossed to us at that point, we're going to be like, he's really good.
Yeah, like, because the thing is, they do say rap, because when they come up with the graphics and the tail of the tape, they want us quiet because they want the music. Yeah. The music comes on and yada yada. It's got to be clean. And then if you finish talking or I finish talking, and there's literally 7 seconds, you can't make a good point. Well, this is going to be a tremendous fight. Can't wait for this one. And really good.
He looks really good. He looks really good tonight. And I've done it. It's happened where I'm like, I know. I just say with 5 seconds left to talk, and the people at home are like, "What an idiot!" Because they don't know that we're getting rapped. They don't hear the producer saying, "Okay, rap."
They're like, "That's all he's got. That's all he can add. You got nothing more to say. It's the main event, and that's all you've got." God, this guy sucks.
This guy sucks.
You know what? I'm gonna say I don't care. Like people complain about commentary. Right, of course they do. I watch it on mute. No, you don't.
I hate
no, you don't. No one's ever watched it on mute.
It's so boring to watch it on mute. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, there's always people that complain. And when Lerone Murphy fought Josh Emmett, there was 5 or 6 people who said, Bisping's the worst commentator of all time. Anytime I commentate an English guy against an American, all of a sudden I'm super biased. And I feel I actually go the other way because I'm aware of that criticism and I want to make sure I'm very even. But then some journalists, for bloody elbow, wrote an article using that as the headline. Bisping is the worst commentator because 3 dickheads on Twitter said it.
Wow.
Jordan Ellis, go fuck yourself. You gotta go. It's slow news week, is it, buddy? And I know that guy. He's English, and I've had a conversation with him on multiple occasions. I can't wait to have the next one.
Oh man,
can't wait to have the next one. It's like, what are you doing? You quoting randoms on Twitter?
The clickbait stuff that people will put out there today. It's it's a sad environment that they know. And any interview you do too, you think you're having this nice, cordial interview with somebody, and you say one thing, and then your words, it could be part of a whole huge paragraph of what you've just said. But the one tiny little shocking part that when it stands alone seems really controversial or really heated, they'll put that as the headline. Michael Bisping or Paul Felder thinks X, Y, and Z. When really, if you actually read the article, watch the video or the interview, it has nothing to do with how that sounded and that when it stands alone.
I know. I guess I could do a better job, but of trying to not give them that. But that's who I am. And you want to be entertained, I would have thought. And you want opinions that are strong and factual and what we think. And that's what I provide. And I know that's what you provide. And sadly, if they've got nothing better to write about, then they'll go and watch the Believe You Me podcast and find something inflammatory to write about.
And as far as like the people that love to write hate on Twitter, I forget who I was talking to somebody about, but they're saying, that you really have to just not, and we've talked about this a million times, just not letting it bother you, because really, if you're doing a fantastic, I think it was one of our producers I was talking to about it. If you do a really awesome job, what are the chances somebody's going to say when you're doing your job and it's going smoothly and they're loving the production, they're not going to write, wow, what a really fantastic people want to write hate. People want to write venom on social media.
Well, we've said this before, that gets more engagement in whatever it is. That's why, tabloid newspapers in the UK, like it used to be the Sun and the Star and whatever, they write negative stories because people are intrigued by that. It's just something about human nature, YouTube videos that are the downfall of such and such. This guy, up in flames, like Jimmy Kimmel and fucking all whatever. They're covering all that shit right now because they want negativity. For some reason, the human brain is more interested in that scandal than seeing an article where it's like, this guy's really good. Let's talk about him. That's boring.
Or so-and-so has done something really nice recently. It's like, no, you hear about murder, you hear about controversy and political stuff and both sides, because it's gonna get engagement. It's gonna cause people to have conflict on there. And that just brings more engagement. The left's going to say this. The rights are going to say this. These people are going to say this. Religious people are going to agree with this. Atheists are going to, it just creates drama.
But the interesting thing is that, okay, if you're trying to sell a publication, if you're doing content online, whatever, and you want to get views, okay, I kind of get that. But if you're just an average Tom, Dick, or Harry, and you're on Twitter, and you just spouting nastiness for the sake of it, what is going on in that person's mind? Because there is so much shit out there. There's so much hatred. It's like, it's wild. It's crazy. It's like, bro, you need to calm down and step away from the keyboard, buddy. Take a deep breath. Jesus Christ. You're not even involved in the situation. You sound like you want to kill someone.
There's some vile stuff that gets said. And I do often sit and think and over the years, I've engaged with some of these people, and you really do have to just not do it because you can't win. You're not going to, you've already allowed them to win the battle when you've engaged right back. Nothing you can say. They're always just going to be like the end. They always end it with anybody I've ever gone back and forth with in some sort of Instagram exchange, or they start DMing me and I'm responding is, oh, you're such a big UFC guy, and here you are talking to me like who? They give you the answer for you right there. Yeah, I shouldn't be wasting my time doing this. You're right.
Well, the thing is, Paul, is because me and you and most of us, all of us, We're still just normal human beings. Yeah, I certainly don't think I'm above responding to a person on Twitter. And sometimes
shit.
Number one, that's how it responds. And we've got to get better at that. And I've certainly got better over the years, but I've still got a long way to go in terms of controlling my emotions. But I've definitely improved. But what it is, I see like a negative tweet, and I don't want that out there without me putting my side forward. But then you click on their account, and they've got 17 followers. So it's like all you're doing is highlighting it. So just
nobody's seeing it until you engage, right? And I agree with you. That's why I stopped doing it, because you're like, sometimes they have no followers, no profile photo. They're just on there to do that and to try to get engagement and start talking shit. It makes them feel better. And you'll realize like, oh man, look at all these negative comments I got on this broadcast recently. And then you'll be like, wait a minute. Nobody but me is seeing that because they're tagging me in that. So therefore I see it because it pops up on my stuff. But somebody casually scrolling through about their day on Instagram or Twitter isn't seeing somebody talking shit on how Paul Felder and Michael Bisping did on UFC Paris commentary. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a fake account and I'm going to start spamming you, Paul, because you're ready. You're ready to kill someone on Twitter. Getting back to the MMA world, as I said before, we do have Periera versus Magomed coming up next week. Alex Pereira, there was a video of him, number 2 in the notes, weighed in 12 days before the fight at 234 pounds. So he's got 29 pounds to cut in 12 days. Do you know what? That sounds crazy, but I'm sure it's what he's done in the past. And for light heavyweights, it's a lot, but it's not. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
It's a lot, but I think when you're that big and you have that much muscle, he's going to sweat a lot of that out. And I think that's really just telling you he hasn't even had to really start trying to dial it in until probably the week of, maybe 5-6 days out. He starts really dieting, starts water loading. And I guarantee already after a couple of days of that, he's probably losing 8 to 10 pounds, just flushing out his system, cutting out a lot of sodium, cutting out a lot of bullshit. So
yeah,
it's easy to get on the scale then when you're fully hydrated up. You haven't really started cutting, because when he was at 85, it was probably a different story. He was probably doing that, but he was dieting far out. Whereas now he's making it look like, I think it's purposely being put out
also there. Correct. And that's where I'm going to go now. You got to remember, Alex Pereira is a bit of a troll. And he takes hits online, right? We all have to eat, and you drink a lot of water, you will get heavy, right? Water fluctuation in your body is like your weight can fluctuate like crazy every single day, depending on what you ingested the day before. I guarantee that video was at the end of the day. I guarantee he's just had his dinner. I guarantee for the sake of the video, he's probably just downed almost a gallon of water. Step on the scale. Look at this, guys, to get everyone talking. Because we saw that video, well, we'll show it in a minute, of him pranking Renato Moicano. He's not above, a little bit of mind games, fun and games, enjoying himself leading up to the weigh-in. So I don't think he is 234. I think that's just him trying to give Magomed Ankalaev some kind of false sense of security or something like that. But yeah, I don't believe that for a second.
Yeah, that's him playing games and having fun. And again, like you said, that's not 7 a.m. You just got up, you took a piss, you're going to step on the scale and really check where your weight's at. Because let's be honest, that's where we all, as fighters, that's when I really know where I'm at. I just woke up, I had a pee, I'm getting out of the bathroom. What's my weight in nothing? Nothing. I didn't even wear underwear when I would check my weight. Nothing.
Even now, when I'm not fighting, clearly, when I go to the scale, because in the morning, I don't wear contact lenses in bed. I've got my glasses on. You know what I mean? I take my glasses off. 100%.
Bro, if I had a watch on, I take my watch off. I'll even take my Oura ring off. I'll take it all off. And you're right. It's just still so ingrained in us I want to get the realest number that I can get before I check my weight.
What
even
at
the doctor's office? I don't know. The last I checked, I was probably like 176, 175, 176. But I might be a little heavier. I haven't, since I got this bronchitis, I haven't been able to train in the last 2 days. So
can I say something?
Yeah.
For bronchitis, for you being the Irish Dragon, You know, you're a badass, Paul. It's a very feminine little cough.
Because I'm trying to hold it back.
I know.
That's what.
Oh, there you go. Let it roar.
That's what it wants me. But it's that little cough that drives Christine crazy because I'll try to hold it and I'll be like,
don't do that.
And she'll look at me like, what the was that? I'm like, I'm trying not to cough. She's like, you sound
Rebecca, come here. Yeah, no. Rebecca does the same thing. Like, I annoy her with like coughing or sneezing or even just breathing. The way that I breathe. Come here. Just jump on the show for a second. The believers like to see you. Paul's got bronchitis.
So I hear. Sorry about that. That's not.
And he's coughing. Do your little girly cough, Paul.
I was telling Michael that it drives Christine crazy because I'm coughing like crazy, so I'll try to hold it back. So you know when you have a cough and I'll be like,
like
and I should just cough. I know, but I'm trying to, because I didn't know what I had for the longest time either, so I didn't want to be spraying all over the house. The kids could be getting, and it turns out now it's just an infection in my lungs.
I sneezed in the Thai restaurant the other day.
It was that explosion.
And there was a snot on the floor.
Because
I was like, oh my God, there's a big greenie on the floor. So I had to get a napkin. And then the waitress saw it. She goes, give it here. I'll take it. I'm so sorry. Because I went, I did that to the side. It was like a.
Michael doesn't cover up.
I do cover
the
up.
The protocol for when you sneeze in the elbow.
Yeah.
He's never done that once. Sometimes he goes like,
I go like this,
which is even worse.
I know, and then it's all over your hands.
Yeah. Elbow, baby.
Oh, shut up. Anyway.
It's true.
Just leave me alone. Listen.
That's what they say.
Brian, we're going to edit all of this out.
But yeah, what, your breathing's
annoying? Yeah, I know you just by breathing.
Because you don't breathe properly. So he
listen, to his credit though, he's been punched in the face, as have I, and our breathing is
no, it's not even that. What he does, he'll sit there, and particularly like if he's scrolling his phone or whatever. So he'll go every breath.
Like hold his breath.
He holds it every breath for like a good 3 seconds. I'm like, why are you doing that?
I'm retarded. What can I tell you?
Just breathe normally. You don't have to. Why are you holding it?
This is what I mean. So we're lying in bed at night. She's giving me shit for the way that I breathe. I'm like, babe,
well, just
shut up.
Breathe
normally. Leave me alone. It's just the way I breathe. I don't know. Get off my case.
Oh,
right?
Can you just try to change the way you breathe?
I'll try. Because
it can't be healthy.
I don't know. At this point, I don't know if it's changed.
I don't think it's possible at 46.
I honestly don't.
This is the way I breathe. Okay, this is who I am.
Why are you holding it?
I don't. It's not consciously. It's a subconscious thing. But this is very conscious. Get out.
We did the.
What did we do?
We did the breath work class when we went to. We went to Thailand. It was really good.
We did a breath work class.
So you should like.
I do that sometimes in the sauna.
We'll do it on the couch.
Hold it. No, but you hold it when you're doing the breath work.
That's true.
You breathe in, you hold it, you breathe out, you clear your mind, you meditate, you get all peaceful.
That's really what he's doing. So yeah. I mean, technically, he's just
at peace with himself.
I'm at peace. Get out.
All right.
Go on, start off. If you are struggling to get a good night's sleep, it might be because of your mattress and you need to upgrade it. And that's where Brooklyn Bedding makes it super easy to upgrade your sleep. I found the perfect mattress. It got delivered right to my door. You unbox it, it all kind of inflates itself. It's not inflatable, but it just like comes alive outside of the box, and it will give you the best sleep of your life. Brooklyn Bedding handcrafts every single mattress in their Arizona factory. No middlemen, no gimmicks, just top tier quality, honest pricing, and real American craftsmanship for a better night's sleep. Brooklyn Bedding knows that one size doesn't fit all. That's why they offer mattresses for everybody and every sleep style, even in hard to find sizes. Not sure which mattress is right for you? Just take their sleep quiz and find your perfect match in just under 2 minutes. And guess what? You get to try this bad boy out for 120 nights. It's a comfort trial. If you love it, then of course you keep it. If you don't like it, they will return or swap it. hassle-free. Not sure you can take my word for it. Well, Brooklyn Bedding has been awarded the best mattress by CNET and best hybrid mattress by Wirecutter, so you know it's the real deal. So go to brooklynbedding.com, use the promo code BELIEVE at checkout to get a massive 30% off site-wide. This offer, by the way, is not available anywhere else. That is brooklynbedding.com. These mattresses are phenomenal. The promo code is BELIEVE for a huge 30% off site-wide. Make sure you enter our show name after checkout so they know that we sent you. brooklynbedding.com, promo code BELIEVE, 30% off. Anyway, should we have a look at Pereira pranking Renato Moicano?
Fez a entrevista lá pô, achei bom de canais, entendeu? As perguntas que você fez lá.
Sério?
Porra, velho.
It's in Portuguese.
It's all in Portuguese.
Pô, não, eu sou...
Yeah, it's all right. It's okay. We don't need to play the whole thing. It'll get exhausting. You know what I mean? He calls Moicano and he's like, look.
So he doesn't know it's Pereira.
No, he knows it's Pereira. And he's like, I've seen you saying some stuff and you kind of turned Glover Teixeira against me. And we've had a fallout and this and that and blah, 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 blah. I played to Moicano, if I'm not mistaken, Harrington, correct me if I'm wrong. He kind of like, he doesn't start apologizing. He's like, okay. And he's like, I'll see you when I see you. And he's like, okay. And then he starts laughing. You know, he was like giving him shit, trying to intimidate him and all the rest of it. Bully boy tactics. Bully boy tactics. I'm telling you, that's straight up bullying.
Yeah, Moicano did stick to his guns. He said there was nothing that was said on that podcast that could have made this happen. I think you're messing with me. Yeah. Like he kind of sniffed it out. And the fact that Glover was sitting right there, I thought was a pretty nice touch.
Yeah, no, I know. They were just having a laugh, having a tease. As I said, Pereira's a social media darling these days. That's what he's doing on 234 pounds. That's what he's doing with Moicano. Reality is, and we'll save most of this conversation for next week for the pay-per-view, obviously, but there's a lot of pressure on Pereira coming. No, that's not fair. He's made a tremendous amount of money. He's clearly achieved what any fighter dreams of achieving, which is A, realizing your potential, B, financial security, C, is a world famous fighter now. He's done it all. Yeah. But if he wants to continue being the champion, if he wants to prove more importantly that he can beat Magomed Ankalaev, then of course he's got to win. But in terms of everything else, I guess I take that back. I don't believe there's pressure necessarily in terms of his lifestyle or who he is. But Paul, as fighters, the main thing that drives us is ego.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely don't want to go out there and lose twice in a row to a guy, especially when you think you're the baddest dude out there. And he's definitely one of those guys. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how hungry he still is based on this performance too, right? Because you're right with all those things you said. He has achieved it. He's had the belt in 2 different weight classes. He's made a ton of money. Everyone loves him. And we've seen it with fighters before where when you get to that status, sometimes it starts to get a little harder to get out of bed in the morning to do the training.
Would that be a perfect time to use the analogy for sleeping in silk sheets?
Yeah. It's hard to get out of bed when you're sleeping in silk sheets. Never slept in silk sheets, I don't think.
Me neither. I'm going to get some because I've been wearing some silk shirts lately and they feel nice. When I was in Ibiza, I was in a club and I said, come on, let's go get in the mosh pit. Let's get on the dance floor for a bit. And there was these 3 German guys or something, and one of them touched me on the chest and he starts rubbing my chest. I'm like, what are you doing? So your shirt feels really nice. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. He may have taken some things that made that shirt.
I think he was. Either that or he just had really nice tasting men. He was like, this is a handsome guy. And I'm going to take any opportunity.
Beautiful shirt.
Gently stroke his chest just over the nipple. Schultz seats are for sweating in, says Brian.
Are not for sweating in. I had a girlfriend who used to bring her silk pillowcase over, and that thing would get really fucking gross. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Like silk is.
I'll bet, Brian.
Silk's not for getting sweaty, is all I'm saying.
Well, anyway, I'm going to get some silk sheets, but this is why if I was to open up that cupboard behind me, I have the award for the segue of the year. So this is a perfect segue into what's going on with Conor McGregor, because if there's someone that doesn't have the motivation to fight, doesn't need to fight, does have all the money, has ticked all the boxes, won the belts, become a simultaneous double champion, and he's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and he's no longer running for president of Ireland, it's Conor McGregor. He doesn't need to fight, but he's fighting at the White House. He is going to be the main event versus Michael Chandler at the White House. Dana doesn't trust John Jones, but he trusts McGregor to be the main event because I don't know
that
what
tells you a lot about one person, John Jones, because if they're trusting Conor over you, that's saying something.
Brian, just click that link in number 5. I don't know what it is. There it is. McGregor on Fox News.
You know, the Mac is excited to get back for sure. In UFC, there'll be a fight at the White House. They're making up the cards now. Does Conor McGregor want to be a part of that?
I'm on it.
You're on it?
I'm on it. Well,
Who are you fighting?
I am. This is me. Michael Chandler and myself have done the show, The Ultimate Fighter. We've had a good back and forth. He's a good, tough guy.
So McGregor, you got big names coming back?
Yeah, we'll build the greatest card of all time for the White House fight. And Conor and I have been talking consistently. He wants this fight bad. And you know, when you get to a level that Conor's at, you got to find things in life that motivate you. And the White House card has definitely motivated Conor McGregor.
Yeah. Look, hey, I'll say this, right? Save your thoughts on all the non-fighting stuff. And yes, there's been the allegations and whatnot, right? The one thing McGregor can do is fight. We know that, right? It will be 5 years since his last fight in the UFC.
So crazy.
5 years, man.
Yeah.
Almost to the week.
Time.
He fought Dustin Poirier July 2001. It'll be the end of June or July 4th or whatever it is, 2026. 5 years away from the octagon, 38 years old, right? Now, but you got to remember, okay, partying, doing this, doing that, doing whatever, being away from the gym. As we said before, you're still the fighter that you are inside. And if you can get clean and if you can stay focused, and just even in that clip there and the other clips I've seen, you can tell by the face, he looks like he's switched on. You know what I'm saying? Because you can, because there's some, Jesus Christ, when I'm puffy, you can tell when I've had a heavy night out. And I indulged a little bit yesterday. I'm a little puffy today. But he looks like he's kind of switching on the diet. He's back in the testing pool. He's coming back. And I'll tell you what, it's the perfect opponent. Yeah. It is the perfect opponent.
I love that he's at least going to honor that. I kind of hope it happens just because all the shit that went on between him and Chandler that never actually ended in a fight. It would be nice to see them actually get out there. And it'd be nice for Chandler, who really obviously wants to fight on that White House card too, if that fight can actually happen. And I think if Conor can be in the gym, then I don't mind seeing him fight. I want to see him fight again if he's able to get in there and I hate to say stay clean, but it's pretty obvious that he lets the nightlife and the drugs and all that kind of shit get him carried away. But if he wants to beat even Chandler, he certainly can't be doing that shit leading up to this fight. Not even for testing pool stuff, but just for performance. Because you want to talk about how badly he'll spiral if he goes in there against Chandler and he's not right and he gets beat up in front of America on the White House lawn, in front of the president, in front of all this stuff. So hopefully he can stay dialed and go in and do his thing.
I'll say this right now. I believe if Conor McGregor trains, which you'd be a fool not to, if he really pushes it, has a really serious training camp, I don't see a world where Michael Chandler beats this guy. I think clearly McGregor will come back, probably get a knockout in the first round, and talk about a bloody comeback. It's ridiculous. 5 years away from the sport, snaps his leg, goes on there's been a lot of controversy. Again, we don't need to get into all that stuff. We all know all about it. Not really a part of the sport, promoting bare knuckle and all the rest of it. Then comes back, White House card, which is ridiculous, becomes the main event, and you can't blame them. The man is the biggest star. He has sold by far the most pay-per-views, something like 15 million pay-per-views he sold for the UFC, 4 million in the Floyd Mayweather fight. You're going to put that guy on. It's going to be free on Paramount TV for everyone to watch it for free, which is going to get ridiculous numbers. And then if he was to knock out Michael Chandler in round one, it's like, Jesus Christ. Talk about giving this guy, I'm not saying it's a gift and it's a gimmick because he's got to fucking earn it, but it's just the perfect thing. If that can't get someone motivated to say, right, I'm going to get my shit together and I'm going to fucking come back. I'm going to fight on the White House after 5 years away. If that doesn't do it, nothing will.
No. I mean, it shouldn't even take all that. But, when you're making, like you talked about, hundreds of millions of dollars and you've got everything that you ever started fighting to gain, and then it's hard to get up. It's hard to get out of those silk sheets, as we talked about earlier. But I just worry for him that even when he's in the gym, who is there to really push him? Who is he training with? What coaches is he going to keep Kavanaugh around? Is that the right move anymore? I almost feel like he needs to kind of just level everything and start over and get somebody that's actually not going to give a shit who he is, and bring in people that are going to push him and not spar these amateurs on the road, not be training on your yacht. Like, to go in and win again after this long of a layoff, he's got to get back to the grind. And that's what I worry about.
Any fighter needs somebody real around him. Simple. They do. And Friday, I went down to Cheeto Vera's gym, did some training with Pereria and the guys, did a bit of sparring. Callum came down and Pereira took Callum on the pads. And it was just, he just did like 3-minute rounds or so. But my God, Callum improved so much just from the instruction that Pereira gave him. And the reason I bring this up is because I remember when I started training with Pereira, and the guys that I had around me when I first moved out here, I was the guy. I was in charge. I was running my own stuff. I was telling them when I was going to train. I was saying, right, we're going to work on this. We're going to work on that. When I started training with Pereira, I'm sparring and maybe it wasn't going so well and he's giving me instructions. I'm like, yeah, I'm trying. And he's like, so stop it down. And we'd only just started training together and I was established in the UFC and I was a ranked contender. So it was good for Jason, but he did not give a shit of what it could have potentially done for him or his career or maybe his bank account or his legacy or reputation as a coach. He didn't give a fuck. He said, stop. You do as I fucking say in here. And you certainly don't talk shit, because if that's the attitude you're going to have, you can get the F out of the gym right now. Okay? Because I ain't training you like this. You do as you're told and you listen to me and you have respect. So stop freaking out and stop being a dickhead, because I'm getting my ass kicked and he's giving me advice. I'm like, I'm trying. He's like, that's not the response. That's not how you handle this. That's what he needs.
Yeah,
McGregor can find someone like that. Holy shit, man.
But Willie.
Yeah, remains to be seen. Should we do a non-MMA before we get into these other stories? Because Harrington's got some crazy shit on here. Harrington, I don't know who, pop star / rapper, D4VD. I'm assuming that's a play on the word.
Yeah,
David.
How do you even say it? Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it said David. I'm not very familiar with the music, but what I do know about this person is that they recently were discovered with the remains of a 15-year-old woman or 15-year-old girl found in his trunk. It is worth noting that this guy, he was in contact with the girl before she went missing some years ago. Her family knew that she was in contact with this man. And there was also some creepy stuff where he has been going on like lives and streaming like Kai Cenat and I Show Speed, like those guys do, with a girl who looks remarkably similar to the 15-year-old girl who was found in his trunk very recently.
So, like, I don't know, David, D4VD, okay? I haven't got much to say. I couldn't. We would play one of his songs, but we'll get demonetized on YouTube. Is he big? I mean, there's a pretty serious water that he's in there. A 15-year-old dismembered in the trunk of his Tesla.
He's gotten significantly larger since this story has broke.
Oh, he's blown up overnight. There's no such thing as bad press.
Bet. I will bet.
I shouldn't be joking about that, but that is crazy. Harrington put that in the notes. I'm not sure what you want me to do with that, Harrington. We're going to move on.
Well, I mean, very simply, as the father of a daughter, what are you doing if your 13-year-old daughter comes and tells you, hey, I've been texting with this rapper who's pretty popular on social media?
First of all, she's 15, Harrington, so get your facts right. Second of all,
she went missing at 13. Her body, the dismembered body, was a 15-year-old girl. She's been missing for years.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, all right. I mean, look, listen. If my 13-year-old daughter, if Ellie was texting with some rapper at 13, she's not texting with anyone at 13. Simple as that. Yeah, all right, she can, friends, maybe a bit of a casual boyfriend. They go into the dance or the prom. You know what I mean? But you ain't bouncing around in no one's car. Certainly not a rapper. Do you know what I mean? I don't give a shit. You are not
Especially
going out
with a guy who spells his name with a 4. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's sad. It's tragic. Here's another story that Harrington's got in. We're all excited to talk about this one, and we're joking, Harrington, but this is what we do. You'll like this one, Paul. Samsung is rolling out a new line of fridges.
No. Samsung had already rolled out a line of fridges that some people spent $1,800 on. Now, when they go to get, some ice from the ice maker, they will be bombarded with ads that they cannot turn off, thanks to a new software update from the company that they force on people who already spent $2,000 on an appliance.
Brian, just click that link so we can see it, but go ahead, Paul.
That's so insane that our appliances now are going to be giving us advertisements. We were talking about the cars that were doing it, right? That there was going to be cars that when you stopped at traffic lights.
Well, we got ads on the side of this. We got ads on the side of the ad. Yeah, that is so annoying. Oh, there you go, Brian. Well done. Well done. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
I'd rather
it's
have
all about advertising.
Yeah. No thanks.
We just got a new fridge in our house.
Unless it cooks me meals. I don't want it.
Yeah. Well,
if I made dinner, then I might let it tell me about some ads.
Our new fridge that we just got, it has a water function on it that has a sensor, so it also fills it. So that's good.
Yeah.
We
just changed the filters on our we have one of those Berkey water filters, the big metal, they're like a big metal basin that has these very strong filters inside of it. And it's got like a little spout on it. And you had to finally change the filters in that thing but it holds like a couple gallons of water and it just sits over by our coffee machine. It's nice. It gives you super clean water because the tap water here in Delaware County tastes like shit. To be
and tap water everywhere is terrible for you anyway, full of fluoride and all other kinds of shit.
Yeah, you got to look. This thing is nice. Berkey. Really good. They should be sponsoring this show.
We have a water filter outside our house, and every now and again, I forget what Rebecca does this. She's the man of the house. You've got to get like back. She's probably getting Lucas. Like you've got to get big bags of a certain type of stone and put them in the water filter.
Yeah,
I forget what kind of stones they are now. I'm losing my man card as we speak. But we just got a new fridge, there you go. And it fills itself and it's got an ice machine. There you go. But it beeps. It beeps at us. Like it's to warn you if you open up the thing. It's only been open 15 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
It beeps letting me know.
Ours doesn't do that. Yeah. When I lived with my brother Tommy, when we first moved into the house that he bought, he had a brand new fridge and had that same thing. And my God, I'd be like getting cream out for my coffee and I'm pouring cream into the coffee and the thing's like, beep, beep. I'm like, all right, I'll be right there, dude.
Give me a minute, please. For the love of God.
Punch the fridge.
We'll do one more non-MMA. This is what we've got to look over.
How about the daughters make you live longer? Did you see that?
Having daughters makes men live longer, according to a new study. Each daughter is said to extend one's life by 74 weeks, which is just over a year and 22 weeks. Well, almost a year and a half. So that's, according to you, Paul, 3 daughters, you're going to get an extra 4.5 years.
I'll take it.
Take it.
Yeah.
Now, combined with the alcohol, which apparently I just saw that every drink that you take knocks 30 minutes off your life. Ooh. You're probably going to be about even.
I don't know. I think I might need a few more daughters to even make it even, to be completely honest with you. I probably had far more drinks than I have daughters that are.
I will say this. Every person, every man that I know that has daughters, that has a daughter, me included, they're far more stressful than boys. Like Callum.
I don't know how we're living longer. I don't get that stat at all.
Because stress makes you grow.
Hey, it does.
So
you got to suffer.
I was talking to Alex about this because I said the exact same thing as you. I said, there's no way. She's a terror. My daughter is a terror at 2 years old. There's no way. And Alex made the point that like end of life care is better for you if you have a bunch of daughters taking care of you than a son taking care of you. Because sons, we're callous, we're cold. But a daughter, like they'll take care of mommy and daddy.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing. Every time I talk to somebody, I tell them, I got 3 daughters. They go, oh, well, you'll be taken care of when you're older.
Yeah. No, exactly. Exactly.
That's good.
I've got 1 daughter. She's not interested in anything I do at all. Maybe when I'm old and tired and knackered and I can hardly talk, maybe she'll
be there to feed you soup.
Yeah, hopefully.
And you could still be making money because they could make you a fucking hologram like they're doing a Stan Lee and sell meat.
Yeah, I saw this.
What is this?
Insane.
This is
AI
the craziest
Stan Lee.
story that Harrington put in the notes.
Yeah, so at San Diego Comic-Con this year, fans are going to be able to spend between $15 and $20, depending on when you buy the ticket, to go into a room that is going to have an AI Stan Lee in it. You can have a conversation with him for up to 3 minutes, or just take selfies with the Godfather of Marvel Comics.
I mean, it's pretty crazy what they're doing these days. I mean, yeah. I mean, because I guess it would like take all of the conversations and his kind of opinions and put it all into an algorithm. So the words that he says is kind of influenced by real things and kind of his attitudes on certain topics and subjects and stuff like that. So, I mean, if you're a big fan, if that floats your boat, fantastic.
It's crazy though, that the way they can do this stuff. And I'm sure it seems pretty legit too. I mean, like AI is getting scary good, and then like holograms and things like that they're able to do now are getting even crazier. I mean,
I'm always I think we've said this before, anytime I see something crazy on Twitter, like last night there was a couple of things last night on Twitter. What was it? And Rebecca's straight away, she's like, that's AI. It's AI, Michael. I'm like, no, it's not. Without even checking, because I want to believe
it's not. Yeah.
I want to believe that it's real. I'm like, no, it's not. And I haven't looked. And then you click on it and Grok underneath it is like, yeah, this is last night it was some kid was getting arrested for viewing a social media post or something, which is true, actually. She did do that, but we're not going to get into the whole politics.
I saw exactly, and it was in England, right?
It was in England for viewing a social media post.
Yeah.
And Rebecca's like, that's AI. But it wasn't.
It wasn't AI. No. But I heard there was more to that story on maybe she was involved in the post and there was some things said. But again, I don't know. When I first saw it too, I was outraged. I'm like, it's getting to that level where you can't even look at something and you're getting your phone confiscated as a teenager. It's scary.
There's got to be more to it, because think about it. If
it was cut a lot too. Like the video was edited so that a lot of the things that were probably said weren't in it, explaining the backstory.
Yeah. So, but if you're going to be held accountable for viewing it, then surely Instagram, Twitter, whatever, that facilitate the ability to view it. The people that create the phones, Apple, you know what I mean? You're allowed to buy a phone. You're allowed to have an Instagram account, but you just click on one thing and you view something. That doesn't make you culpable or, guilty of any kind of crime. So there's got to be more to it, I would assume. Harrington, seems like you have some info.
Yeah, so the West Midlands Police put out a statement on this where we are aware of reports we're investigating a child for viewing a social media post. This is completely incorrect. We're investigating after a complaint from a member of the public that a fake social media account has been created in their name and had been used to send indecent messages. So the whole thing was just turn your phone over. We need to look through it, make sure that you don't have any involvement in this.
Speaking of which, Harrington, did we talk about this already? Did you guys watch Unknown Number yet?
Oh, yeah, I watched it.
Michael, did you ever end up watching it?
I saw a bit of it. I was in Paris. We put it on. I fell asleep. I listened to what you had to say. I was like, this sounds great. Rebecca loved it. When we were doing the fighter meetings.
So did she finish it?
She finished it. I know who it was. It's crazy. I don't want to ruin it for people.
Crazy, dude.
I know who it was.
Crazy.
That's a crazy bitch.
That's a crazy bitch.
That is a crazy bitch. Should we talk about it?
I mean, I couldn't tell enough people to go and watch that documentary because of how crazy that woman was.
Yeah, we won't ruin it because if anyone hasn't seen it, we don't want to spoil it for them.
Spoiler alert.
5 minutes until Modestas Bukauskas joins us.
I saw him at the airport, by the way, when I was leaving. He is such a nice guy.
He is such a nice guy. I'm going to ask him, I say, how's a nice guy like you end up fighting in the octagon?
I know.
Harrington, Brian, pardon me, number 10. Did you see this one, Paul? Jiu-jitsu player breaks her own arm, sinking in a choke.
Oh, yeah. Didn't this just happen at Cage Fury?
Yeah. Trying to squeeze in the arm.
Fury grappling. That's insane.
So the woman stops. She's not even aware that her arm broke. She's trying to do the rear naked choke, and then she hears a click, and she thinks it's the woman's jaw, the blonde lady. She thinks it's her jaw that's shattered or broken. So she's like, oh, and let's go. And then she comes to find out.
Yeah, I did see this. And I was watching this for a while, and I ended up falling asleep. I was watching it at my mom's house. I spent the night at my mom's on Saturday night, and I was watching Fury grappling because I think Pat Sabatini might have had a grappling match on there. I never ended up actually getting to catch it. Guys, do you know if Sabatini won his grappling match on that?
Maybe Harry.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, no. He Pat Sabatini, he defeated he also won a title defense against Richie Lewis at CFFC BJJ and Pro Grappling 15th on September 20th.
Nice.
So
I didn't see this, but that is crazy. What's the craziest injury? I did a little list because we were going to do a YouTube video on it with my editor, John, but I haven't done it. So, because I said to him, craziest injuries. That's maybe a good idea for a YouTube video. Here are the ones that we decided, he did. Amanda Mazza snaps her own arm in BJJ. That was the one we just saw. This is why I didn't do a video, because they're not exactly big ones. Alessandra Costa caught toes between the cage. I think that happened just recently. See that? The toes kind of ripped apart.
Yeah.
Trey Ogden blows his bicep at UFC Vegas 1-on-1.
And I know Trey Ogden. I don't remember that one.
Kimbo Slice explodes the ear of James
I remember watching that live. That one.
Yeah.
What was that promotion? What was that back then?
Elite FC.
Yeah.
That was on CBS, I think, right?
Yeah, I think it was, dude. I think it was.
Elite FC.
That was for the world to see MMA and go, ooh, this is what MMA is?
The Colossus Thompson. What year was that in? Brian just looked that up. James the Colossus Thompson from England. Nice guy, but Jesus Christ, he's a big monster.
Yeah. He was a scary dude.
Just juiced out of his mind.
May 31st, 2008.
2008.
2008 on CBS, mainstream TV, Kimbo Slice explodes an ear. What was it? Was it the Colossus's ear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was his ear. It's just like,
see if you can find an image of that, Brian, because that was gnarly. It really was. It was like, whoa. And then, as you say, people go, this is what MMA is. I'm like, no, it's great.
He was all pissed off that they stopped it. It's like, dude, your ear is hanging off, brother. It happened in the UFC too. It was a woman as well. It was a woman in the UFC whose ear exploded.
Liz Carmouche? No. Oh.
Yeah, and it's like, I think it's separated.
Yeah. Is that no, put that back on, Brian. James Thompson now he's talking to Big Dan Melguillo. He's like, what are you talking about? It's fine. There's no problem here. He's like, brother, trust me. When you look in the mirror, you're going to understand why this fight stopped. This reminds me of a movie that I just watched recently. Have you ever seen Chopper?
No, I haven't. But
Chopper.
We have.
You got to watch Chopper. Okay. Have you seen that, Modestas?
Chopper. I've never seen it. I've never even heard of it.
Do yourself a favor. It's Eric Banner. He plays one of the most prolific Australian criminals. He slices his own ears off.
You were talking about this one before, I think.
Oh, we were talking about it. Oh, I'm forgetting things. Anyway, whatever. We are joined by the one, the only, the recently victorious. They're now on a 4-fight winning streak. Just knocked out Paul Craig. We love Paul, of course. We love Paul, but Modestas Bukauskas, long overdue. How are you doing, brother?
Yes, doing very well. Thank you. Thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it. And yeah, mate, everything's going well. Just got straight back into training. I'm up here actually in Manchester training with Tom, helping him prepare for Cyril Gane. And yeah, the vibes are high. I'm still in shape even after holiday, so everything's all good.
What did you do after that fight in Paris? I got to see you in the airport, Modestas, and I was talking to Michael. You know, you're definitely one of the nicest guys that you get to talk to in the fight game, especially for somebody that's on such a violent streak that you're on right now. So where did you go? What did you do? How did you celebrate after that big win?
So I literally, as soon as I got, because obviously you can't really plan a holiday because you don't know how the fight's going to turn out.
Yeah.
So on, you know, whether like I've made that mistake in the past. I remember for my pro debut, I booked to go to America already before the fight, and then I was in hospital overnight. So obviously that didn't work out. So I was like, I'm not making that mistake again. But then, so literally on the Tuesday, one of my like really good friends that was actually out there in Paris with me, he recommended me to go to a place called Icos in Marbella. So I literally just took the missus out there for 5 days, just chilled. And do you know what's mad? It's like, you know, you think you go on holiday, all inclusive, you just go absolutely mad. But you know, we still trained. We took bikes out, like we went out like along the coast. It was like beautiful. And then yeah, like I ate recovery. Food. Yeah, exactly. Active recovery. That's the way, mate. Do you know what I mean? And I still went into the gym, like, you know, hit a little bit of weights like this. There's not often times that you get to do like a bro workout. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I kind of just went in there and just like, oh yeah, I'll just
got your pump on.
Yeah, exactly. Get my pump on. You know what I mean? Look good for the Instagram photos. Yeah. You know, I didn't eat too crazy. I drank, but I didn't drink too much. I just had a good time. Do you know what I mean? Just good spending time with the girlfriend. And then as soon as I came back home, literally, I jumped off the plane. My dad picked me up from Luton, and then we're straight back in the gym training. So yeah, but it was good. It was like, I don't go on holiday often, so it was nice just to, like I say, just unwind and not have to think about anything and just relax.
You should have come with me and the Mrs. Modestas. We went off to Ibiza, and we were not working out every day. Let's just put it like that. Obviously, you got the stoppage over Paul Craig at the end. Was it the end of the first round? I think it was, right?
Yeah, end of the first round. Yeah.
Crazy stoppage because, you know, you're on top, you're landing some blows, and it looks like it's the end of the round, but it's actually as the buzzer goes, if I'm not mistaken, you land that elbow, which was, geez, man, talk about a heavy shot. And poor old Paul, you know what I mean? Paul's a great guy. This is just business, of course, but man, just walk us through that situation now.
Yeah, so obviously, I didn't realize, I think I saw a podcast afterwards that apparently Paul tried to do a jumping triangle. And like, you know, obviously I was quite wise that, you know, obviously he was going to try and do something in terms of pulling guard, especially if it was against the fence and there was not that much long left in the round. And the moment where I realized that I could potentially finish it here was there was this one right hand that I landed, and I just kind of heard him gasp. And I was like, okay. And then I could hear in my corner, my dad and my other training partner, James, they literally would like saying, he's hurt, like finish him. And then at one, so I was landing like some punches, trying to like pass his guard because he's quite tricky, you know. He like tries to make the sweeps and stuff like that. So I was just being wary of my defenses, making sure that he couldn't get a good connection with my hands or anything like that, like putting the pressure on top. And then I just hear my dad shouting elbows. So I was literally just trying to get closer to him so I could land some. I think I landed one that was glancing. There was a second one that cut his eye. And then the third one, like literally, he had both his hands on one of my hand, and like my other hand was completely free, and his feet were on my hips. And I felt enough purchase just to basically, I was like, okay, it's the end of the round. I can at least land one more big shot. And yeah, that was ultimately what did it. I didn't expect it to land the way that it did, but like I say, I'm thankful that it did. But and I'm also thankful for my corner team for shouting at me to go for the finish, because, you know, a lot of people would probably say, you can just ride it out to the end of the round and then go into the second and do your work. But they were literally shouting at me like, finish him now. And yeah, so as soon as they said that, I kind of just went for it.
Yeah, it's awesome when you're in good connection with your corner like that too, because people that haven't been in there, haven't fought, it seems obvious. Oh, you hurt him. How do you not know that? But we all know how that is. When you're in there, it's chaos the whole time, right? You're just trying to figure out things on the fly, to have that connection and to hear something like that.
Yeah.
And to your credit, to have the wherewithal to understand that and know that and be in connection with what you're doing and also hearing your corner. It is really exceptional.
Yeah, thank you, mate. I was really, I was quite fortunate as well that I was literally in my own corner. So obviously it couldn't have really worked out any better. Like I was literally like right there, so I could hear them clearly. And yeah, it was that right hand, the first one that landed for me, that the kind of gave me the sort of the inkling to go for the finish. Because I don't think if I landed that right hand as clean as I did, and like hearing him gasp like that, I mean, obviously, if my corner's still shouting at me to go for the finish, I still would have. But I don't think I would have went for it quite as aggressively as I did.
Let's talk about going back to September 2021. You know what this is going to be. When you fought Khalil Roundtree and he comes at you, you can call it an oblique kick, you can call it a stomping side kick, you can call it whatever you want. But he essentially just destroys your leg, stomps on your leg. It bends backwards for the most part. I'll never forget, I was calling that fight. I mean, it was horrific. You had to feel it. Obviously, you didn't fight in the UFC again. You had 2 fights on Cage Warriors before you came back. No doubt that was some dark days, Modestas. Just go through that whole, part of your life for me.
Yeah. So, at that stage in my career, so obviously I had my debut was a win, and then I had 2 losses in a row. And obviously, on your first contract, and especially if you're only getting your show money, with taxes and all sorts of things going on, the money's not great. So if there's another fight that pops up, you're going to want to take the fight. And unfortunately, in training camp, I didn't really want to speak too much about it, because ultimately the fight is the fight. Obviously I had confidence enough in myself that I would go and perform. Unfortunately, it went the way it did. But 10 weeks out, I already had a bad knee injury anyways. I had two torn meniscuses, and 75% of my ACL was torn.
Oh, shit.
And I spoke to the doctor, and the only reason why I literally decided to go through with it was because the doctor that I worked with, he kind of been looking over my knee for quite a long time. And he said the integrity of your knee is in a good place if you feel you can still do your training. And yeah, I had to work different things. I had to do swimming instead of running, and I had to, I couldn't do quite as many athletic things as I normally do. But I adjusted, and I still felt confident enough that I could go in there and do what I had to do. It's just obviously when I speak to my dad afterwards, obviously he's saying why didn't you tell me this before and stuff like that. But obviously, like I say, I'm a man. I make my own decision. I just thought, I could really go out and do it, because I was still confident in myself, and I had good training, and everything went well. But even in the changing room, I remember Paddy just went and got his win. And then I was moving around, and I don't know if I threw a kick or I did something, but I just felt like my knee kind of locked, and it kind of went out of place a little bit. And I remember, and my dad remembers this as well, I kicked the wall, and then my knee kind of clicked back in place where that meniscus was torn. Yep. And then I was like, okay, I'm fine. But then literally the guy goes, you're 5 minutes and you're up. So literally 5 minutes before I'm supposed to walk out, I'm feeling this in my knee, and I was just like, right, we just got to go for it.
And then on top of that, Khalil Roundtree comes out and sidekicks your fucking leg. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, fair play to him though, because he realized, because back then I made so many changes after that fight, but one of the things that he noticed, and probably his corner team noticed, was I was very heavy on my front foot, and I had a bit more of a boxing stance. So with my foot turned in, it just opens that up for him. The first one he threw, I actually got out of the way, but the second time he timed it as I jabbed. So like I say, fair play to him. He executed his game plan. He did what he had to do. But when I got home, I was still I was with my dad the whole time, you know, so I was still trying to be in a bit of a positive mind frame, you know, like everything's going to be okay. The operation itself was absolutely horrible. Like, I remember waking up from the operation. So my physio had arranged to watch the operation so that she could obviously better help me whenever the operation was finished to help with my recovery. And she said there was literally, it looked like a horror film. There was like literally poles and like all sorts of things like coming up through different parts of my leg and stuff like this. And I can imagine that was the case, because when I woke up, I remember I was in so much pain. The first thing I said was, get me some painkillers and get me some morphine or something. And then they ended up putting me back to sleep so that the pain would like kind of subside a little bit, because they did a lot to the knee. You know, they added synthetic ligament and stuff like this, had to fix the meniscus, had to fix the MCL. So it was quite a bad injury. So the first things I remember was just that obviously it was like very painful. But I mean, when I was sitting there in bed, like obviously can't move my leg and stuff like that, I was lucky that I just picked up a camera and I just thought, do you know what? Let me just record this process. It was mad, because as soon as I lost and as soon as that happened, I remember like 2 weeks later, I lost like 2,000 followers on Instagram. Like, and I know social media isn't like, you know, it's not the be all and end all, but you know, just to see that, like, people just completely just like, yeah, all right, well, he's done now. That's it. We don't need to follow him anymore. So I tried to record stuff to try and like show the recovery, just to keep myself occupied, keep myself positive, and just try and do something with this. And the thing that was running through my mind the whole time was like, how shit of a story would it be if it just ended right now? Like, imagine your book of your life. Do you know what I mean? I'd already overcome a lot of adversity anyways. And it's like, Cage Warriors champion, defended his belt, gets to the UFC, wins the bonus, loses 3 in a row, and then gets his knee done, and that's it. Like, what kind of...
Yeah, but Paul, we were just kind of talking about this before, Modestas, weren't we, Paul, about social media and stuff like that. Paul, it's crazy. Like, someone would actively go out of their way and click unfollow because you get your leg broken in a UFC fight. I don't understand that.
Yeah, I know. Like, obviously, fans can be fickle sometimes, and obviously, I understand it's part of the game. You know, it's all sunshine and rainbows whenever you're doing well, and then as soon as something goes wrong, everyone's like quick to jump on you about it. But you know, it's just the way of the world, and you just got to kind of accept it, I guess, and move forward from it. But I just remember like whenever my knee was recovering, and like I was just going through the process of recovery, I was recording stuff. I was obviously upset, but I was still trying to stay positive. But it was when I got the call that I got cut. Well, I actually saw it on Twitter first. You know, when they do roster watch, Modestas Bukauskas and Rio. So then I called my manager, and obviously then he confirmed the news to me, and I just, obviously I burst into tears. But it's funny because I told my dad, and the first thing he said was, well, we just got to train harder and get better. Like, obviously from his point of view, he just didn't want to see because he knew how upset I was anyways, and then to have that on top of that happen, he just wanted me to. He just didn't know how to react, because he's like, what in his head he was just thinking, why does this have to happen to my son? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't deserve this. But there were some dark times. Like, I remember a lot of the times I just didn't want to be in the present moment. I didn't want to be in the world. So again, without my dad knowing, I used to just order on Deliveroo to get beers to my house, and I'll probably drank myself to sleep like many nights. I'll be watching Game of Thrones, and I'll just be literally just like drinking myself to sleep, because I didn't want to be in a world where I had to think about what was going on in my life. I was just like, I just want to be somewhere else. I want to be on planet Jupiter. Do you know what I mean? Where I don't have to actually feel like I'm here. And that went on for quite a while. But like I say, as soon as it's funny, a lot of people don't know I had to actually have a second operation, because there was so much like inflammation that it was actually stopping my knee from straightening. So they actually had to do a second one to get the inflammation out. But honestly, from that second operation, the recovery just went like this. So when it got to me like starting to be able to do more things and like being able to do like my flips and like my spinning kicks and stuff like that, like I just noticed there was a steady progression. All I was thinking was, what can I do today to make myself better, to you know, help with my knee? And I just did that every single day. And I was very thankful and lucky that I just have such a close and loving family. You know, like my dad and my stepmom, I live with them, and they were just there for me the whole time. Like if it wasn't for their support, I almost felt like a massive burden just sitting there, my knee in this bloody, you know, in this contraption, like to ice my knee, and I had to call them over all the time because it was so hard for me to get up off my bed, to get on my crutches, to go to the toilet and come back and do stuff that, you know, I'd have to keep asking my parents, can you bring me some food? Can you bring me some water? And I felt like a massive burden. I'm like, do you know what I mean? I wish I didn't have to ask them to do these things for me. But like I said, they were just, and what I realized is that you know who your real ones are. And I also realized that not everyone's your friend, and you've almost got to have a bit of it kind of gave me a bit of a darker side to me where I became a bit more emotionally detached, where, you know, I like to be nice to people, you know, like, I like, you know, just the way of my being, I like to be like empathetic and emotional, but I kind of had to put that to one side, especially when all of this was going on, because I realized that people are out to get you, and you know, you got to learn how to navigate around that, and the best way you can is by being cold yourself. And I think that was actually something that in my eyes was actually a positive, because it's funny how, like, I've just noticed things just change over the years, but at that particular time, that's kind of what I needed. You know, I needed those things to happen to me, because it also showed the holes in my game that I needed to improve, like being able to fight southpaw, you know, working on my grappling, working on my wrestling, trying to fix all these things. The thing that kept me motivated the whole time is trying to figure out, okay, what can I actually improve on? Like, what do I need to work on? So then by the time I do come to fight, things will come together. And it was almost like divine timing from God. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I remember I didn't get a fight for a long time. I was recovered by March. So by March, I was ready to go. So the injury happened in September. By March, I was ready to fight, and I couldn't get a fight anywhere. And then ultimately it came down to signing with Cage Warriors again. So if you imagine, like, that whole time that I was kind of ready, I was still having to like kind of thinking like, what's going on? But what that helped me learn was that you need to enjoy the process. A lot of the times, even in my first UFC run, I was just waiting for the next fight. Like, oh, when's the next fight? You're like, when's the next fight going to happen? When in reality, I'm a martial artist. Like, I've got to actually enjoy the process. I've got to enjoy like getting better, enjoy the whole, like, going to training, learning things, not having something at the end of the tunnel, and just like. And it's funny because now I've brought that on into my life now, and it makes the whole journey of this MMA career much more enjoyable, because, you know, in camp you're like very, like, you know, very focused and you've got a goal, but also you've got to learn on the outside of it, when you're just training regularly, just enjoy the process of like, okay, let me work on stuff that I actually want to work on instead of working on something for an opponent, you know, and that's actually a really nice time that you don't often get time to do. So, you know, I learned a lot of things from that injury, but I think mentally it made me a lot sharper. Like I say, it made me realize that I need to be a little bit colder, not so, like, I'd almost like throw myself to be friends with everyone and like open up to people when I realized not everyone's out there like for your best interests. So you got to be like quite cautious and wary, and you know, and then obviously, just the thought process of improvement and constantly wanting to get better. I feel like every challenge that I've had has forced me to make a change, and if I didn't make those changes, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I'm actually thankful. Like, you know, a lot of people say, it was a horrible injury, but honestly, that's probably one of the best things that could have happened to me, because it's made me who I am today.
And that's why I bring that up, Modestas, because of course you went to a dark place, and Paul's been there as well, but it is all part of the journey, and you do grow and you do learn from that. And of course, I'm sure you had your dark days and you're drinking a lot there, and you feel like your career's done and it's over, and you've got all these hopes and dreams and aspirations, and you're like, shit, it's all done. It's all over. Is this what it's all going to amount to? But now here you are. You're back in the UFC. You're training with Tom Aspinall and the guys up there. You're 4 in a row. And I'm surprised because I'm looking at the rankings and you're not ranked. But you're fucking absolutely flying, Modestas. I mean, it's beautiful, man.
Oh, thank you very much, mate. And yeah, like I say, I feel like everything's happening at the right time. Like I remember even on fight week, I had such good people around me. I had such good energy, and I almost felt like the win was already had. Like I actually put up a vlog on my YouTube, and yeah, like you hear me speaking even before the fight. I said I'm going to get the finish in the first round. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like everything coming together. And obviously, Paul's extremely dangerous. I had to prepare really well, like, you know, training up with the guys at Tom's place is what's made me confident. And I did make a lot of mistakes in that fight as well. So I'm not saying it was a picture perfect performance, but at least like when I was in the guard, especially, I did not feel in trouble and I did not feel in danger. I genuinely felt like I had the tools to do what I did, and ultimately that's what happens. And that's all thanks to you know, the guys that I'm training with, you know, Tom, James, Ante, and Ante having an amazing performance himself. So it's great that we've got like a group of guys like-minded that just want to see everyone improve and get better. And yeah, that's why I'm up here pretty much every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, straight back to it. And you know, having gone through all that, Khalil's fighting soon. I know you talk about enjoying the process, and when would you expect that you would want to start gearing up towards another fight, Modestas? And is there anybody out there that you're gunning for? Because Michael talked about you not being in the rankings right now, but is there somebody that you'd like that can get you closer to it or possibly get you in there?
Yeah, I feel like right now I deserve a ranked opponent. You know, especially in the light heavyweight division, things can happen very quickly. You know, you win a couple in a row, and especially out of my last 4 fights, 3 of them have been finishes. So I think that speaks volumes for where I should be right now, which is, like I say, I should have my chance to fight at top 15. And realistically, I've got 3 guys that I reckon would be a good test for me. You know, you got Zhang Mingyang, you got Alonzo Menefield and Nikita Krylov. So those guys are, I think they're both respectively like 15, 14 and 13. So any one of those guys, you know, to have my shot at fighting, to get my ranking and to get my spot, you know, going closer towards the top, you know, would be absolutely amazing. And yeah, I would be ready to fight at the end of this year, but even if it's early next year, I'm training. Do you know what I mean? I'm back in here. I'm helping Tom with his camp now. The last little couple of weeks that he's got left, and yeah, I'm still going to be training and improving. You know, I'm not taking my foot off the gas pedal. I've got to be ready because as well, if anything comes up short notice, hey, I'll be ready to take that also.
Stay ready so you haven't got to get ready. I mean, obviously, you know the rankings because you just reeled off 15, 14, and 13 in consecutive order. So you're keeping an eye on this stuff. Of course, at the top of those rankings is Magomed Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira going down next week. Who wins that one? What do you think, seeing as it's your division?
Yeah, I reckon... In my opinion, I think Ankalaev will probably still get the job done. Obviously, Pereira is an extremely imposing character, and his striking is very good. He has been working on his grappling. I mean, Ankalaev wasn't able to get him down in that fight, but even just showing those looks and the southpaw stance, and you know, he's quite tricky with it, and he was able to neutralize a lot of Pereira's striking. So, I mean, you know, obviously, I understand Pereira is going to be working on his game also, but you know, Ankalaev just seems to be on a tear right now, and I just believe that he's going to get the job done again.
Nice,
Paulie. Let me ask you this: you are a nice guy. We were saying this. Me and Paul were talking about this. Super nice guy. You know, respectable. You talk well. You know, you don't come across as a thug. Tell us something about Modestas Bukauskas that the world doesn't know. Give us a little insight. You know, well, in life, pre this calm, cool, collected person that you present to us now. You know, were you like a psycho when you were younger? Come on. Give us the good stuff. Give us the dark stuff.
Well, I'm probably a psycho when it comes to eating chocolate. Oh my Lord. I mean,
I'll take the Pepsi challenge on that.
Honestly, if me and you had an eating challenge for chocolate, I would definitely come out on top. Like, honestly, like I remember, because I used to fight middleweight at the beginning of my career. I used to, like, my parents have seen it as well. Like, literally, just come in a room, I've got like a bag of, and some of my friends would honestly be like looking at me in disgust. But I remember when I was working. So there's one story. I was working for a gym, and like we had like a little retreat that we did in Italy, and we were coming back home. And you know how you go to the airport and you got like duty free, and they've got these massive bars of Toblerone. And my friend tells me this story all the time, and I'm always laughing. But so he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy like 4 Toblerones for my parents." And then I thought, "Oh, I'm gonna do the same thing." But then literally, as we were going on the I think on the coach or the train back home, he says he was literally just sitting there watching me eating it like crisps. Like, and I finished about 3 Toblerones. I had one that I took home to my parents, when in reality I should have like had a load like to bring back to my family, but I literally ate about 3 of them.
How are your teeth?
I'm talking the massive ones as well.
a lot of fillings, Modestas?
Well, actually, considering all that, I haven't. I'm quite religious with brushing my teeth. I'll probably brush them a little bit more often than most. But yeah, I've had a couple of fillings, but I'm surprised I haven't got diabetes. Honestly, the amount the amount of chocolate I've eaten in my time, I've toned it down now that I've gotten a bit older. But,
I used to be the same way. Anytime around Halloween, if one of my fights would fall anywhere near October 31st, I would have it saved up, all the bags of like Reese's cups, all the bags of chocolates, dude. And I would do the same thing where it was pathetic. It was like sad. If you saw me sitting on my couch, there would just be, especially if it was after a fight, just wrappers, and they're all the little bite-sized ones, right? So there's just a litter of all the shit and all the evidence that I'd gone through, bags and bags of candy. I'm surprised too that I don't have any weird blood sugar issues or anything like that. Talk about purging and binging.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, like, imagine, like, I've often thought, like, imagine if someone was just sitting there watching you do this. Like,
I think you have a real problem.
He's just eating 3 Toblerones, the fat bastard. I'm not going to ask for a prediction between Tom and Cyril, because obviously you're not going to sit here and say that bloody Tom loses. The question I'm going to ask you is, what round, in your opinion, does Tom Aspinall finish Cyril Gane?
I think it'll probably be 2nd or 3rd round. When
you're not going to say the first?
I just think, like, probably Tom, like, going with a 5-round fight, he'll probably just sort of, because obviously Cyril Gane's quite fast. So I reckon, like I say, I reckon 2nd or 3rd round, he'll find his footing, he'll put the pressure on him, and then he'll land one of those devastating strikes. Like, honestly, the way this guy has been hitting pads, it like sounds like gunshots have been going off. And then obviously having to spar with him as well and getting a couple to the face, like, do you know what I mean? Like I felt that, and that's him like even holding back. So I can only imagine what it's like with 4-ounce gloves when he's going full pelt. So yeah, my boy Tom's definitely going to get it done. And like I say, in my opinion, 2nd or 3rd, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets it done in the 1st again.
Yeah, exactly. Well, listen, Modestas, congrats on everything. Thanks for being so open and sharing some of that story. Because as I said, Paul's been there, I've been there, and you've been there. And it is. And I think people need to hear this side of things, because mixed martial arts is great when you're winning, and you're in the public eye and everyone thinks, wow, look at this, it's so glamorous. But there is a lot of darkness on the other side that people don't see as well. So as I said, thank you for sharing that. Modestas, always a pleasure talking to you, brother. All the best. We're going to do this again soon. We'll catch up.
100%. I just want to say it's an absolute pleasure chatting to both of you. Like, you guys are absolutely great. And honestly, it's an honor for me being able to be on here with you guys. So thank you guys so much.
Oh, cheers, man.
Nice guys in the sport. That's why I said, give us the demons, man. Where are the demons? Come on.
Stay away from that chocolate, Modestas. Stay away from that chocolate.
Exactly. That was the biggest scandal we could get out of him. Give us something bad. I once ate 3 Toblerones. I was ordering beers by Uber Eats, and my dad didn't know about it. When are you snorting like the cocaine off a hooker's eye?
Yeah, freebasing coke.
You know what I mean? Yeah, so I was on a toilet shooting up with heroin. You know, he's like, no, I had 3 Toblerones once. Like, you're too nice, man. You're too nice. But Destin, you're the man. Congrats on everything. We'll see you soon.
Nice one, guys. Thank you so much. You have a good day.
Take it easy, buddy.
Bye-bye.
That's funny. That's funny. I didn't expect. I thought, he's going to give us something good. He does have a darker side, and it's like, no, he's chilling in his parents' house, being a good son, just crushing some beers secretly. It's like, bro, that ain't that bad. You're doing good.
God bless him.
You're doing good.
God bless him.
But yeah, I mean, we know what that's like too, right? When it's like, you know, even drinking out of depression ever is obviously not a good thing.
Bro,
so it's dark times when you're injured.
When I had my old eye saga, my drinking was at an all-time high. I was sitting there, I was drinking, I was watching Sopranos, I was on the couch, I was taking all kinds of medication, I was fucking crying, I was depressed, I was overweight, I was drinking, I was puffy, my relationship with Rebecca was crappy, feeling sorry for myself, my career's been taken away, what am I going to do? We've just moved to America. Oh, God, it was awful. It was awful. Poor woman. Right, well, we've been cracking on for a bit now, Paul, and you've got to go to Perth tomorrow. Just give us the flight path.
Okay.
We can bitch now 'cause it's the end of the show.
So they were expecting in the beginning. Originally, I was going to go to Doha. I don't know if I told you this, guys. It was Philly to Doha, and I was super pumped about this travel. But I had a 10-hour layover in Doha. But their lounge is amazing. Like, you can sleep there. There's a hotel with a gym if you want to spend some hours there. I had it all figured out. A swimming pool, all kinds of stuff. But as we're getting closer to this flight, I'm texting Zach and travel. I'm like, there's some conflicts that are still happening over there. There's been some military action in Doha. And obviously, when we were coming back from Baku, not too long after that, Doha got bombed and they had to shut down the airport. And I'm like, I'm there for 10 hours. Do I want to risk this flight path just to maybe have less flight to take? Because it would have been to Doha, big layover, but then direct to Perth. So I wouldn't have had to get on as many planes. Ultimately, we ended up changing it. I'm going Philly to LA, LA to Sydney, Sydney to Perth. But Michael Ricci is on all my same flights once I get to LA. So it's like I got a little travel buddy, one of our producers. He's a good friend of ours. So I'm excited. Now I don't have to do it alone. You know how it is. It's always a little easier with these big travel days when you're getting off the plane, there's somebody that you know that you're buddies with that you can kind of navigate everything through. I do a lot of these by myself. So even as glamorous as it can be, and first class flights like this can be awesome, but by yourself, it's kind of like.
I'm glad that you've got company, Paul, because I got to take an Uber to LAX by myself. I got to fly to London by myself. I got to stay in a hotel by myself. I got to go to do a production day. So I signed with a cryptocurrency betting platform called JewelBits. I've got to go do a production day by myself. I've got no one to hold my hand. I got to go hang around with a bunch of strangers. I got to do all this all by myself. I got to go back to the hotel. I've been by myself. You know, it's just I'm glad that you've got company, Paul, but I'll be very busy by myself. You know, so nice one to Modestas Bukauskas. Great guy. Yeah. Nice guy.
Great guy.
Big shout out to Harrington and Brian, of course. But if you have a question, send it into bympod@gmail.com. You know what? October's a bad month. I'm on 4 different continents. Paul's probably on about 2 or 3. But we're going to come back with some Thursday episodes coming up real soon because things are changing in the BYM space. But if you've got a question, send it into bympod@gmail.com. Do us a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell if you want to be super dorky as well. We'd appreciate that. Leave a comment. Tell Modestas how nice he is. Tell Paul, there it is. Do one of those and send it in. Do we have any questions, Brian, after that huge monologue of basically groveling for you to help our channel? But, you know.
Yeah, I got 2 questions here. This one is from Emery.
What's up, boys? Big fan of the pod. I had 2 questions. So one of them is I had my first competition recently in jiu-jitsu and wanted to ask what types of things do you guys do on the mental side of the game to stay sharp and to be prepared in the big moments? And then secondly, I'm going to be working, a 9 to 5 soon. So how do you balance having a real world job with training and getting enough really good training and hard training while you maintain a full-time job? Thanks, boys.
Yeah. tough questions for me to answer, to be honest. Go ahead, Paul.
In terms of the 9 to 5, I worked a lot of serving jobs and bouncing jobs and like taught karate and things like that. So never really had a full like desk job or anything real like that. But when I was doing karate and working at like the old dojo that I taught at, I would have to do something really early in the morning, and then I would have to do something afterwards. So if you want to do legit training, there's a lot of good jiu-jitsu schools now have that kind of class or super early for guys like that want to be like they'll do like
5 a.m.
6 a.m. 5 a.m. 6 a.m. jiu-jitsu class, or get guys that are on your level that you're buddies with that will be willing to commit to doing super early sessions like that before work, because then it's like a good start to your day too, right? After work is always, if you're only relying on after a full day of work, that's where your motivation sometimes can get tested, because you're tired, you just spent a whole day at work. You got to go, you want to eat, then you got to train. It's doable, but I say get that first session in. And as far as motivation, it sounds like you already got it, man. If you're thinking about what can I do to find training in between my 9 to 5 job, it sounds like you don't struggle with that.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head there with find a buddy, i.e. have a training partner.
Yeah.
Having a training partner is so valuable, because on those days where you don't want to go to the gym, they want to go to the gym. And on the days that they don't want to go to the gym, you spur them on, and then when you just go there, you can, you don't have to work at the same place, but you can text each other. We're going to the gym today. No, I don't feel like it. Oh, come on, you pussy. Come on, let's get it in, having that motivation and someone to train with. And certainly if you're doing jiu-jitsu or you're trying to do MMA or just go to the gym and lift weights, want to lose weight, whatever it is, you go through this journey together. Having a training partner is so valuable. I don't really have a training partner these days, but I do have a wife that I drag kicking and screaming to the gym. Right. And she's like, she thinks it's all about me trying to get her to lose weight. I'm like, babe, it's not that I'm trying to make you super skinny and all the rest of it. It's good for your health. It's good for us. It's good for us to get up and go to the gym together, to do this together.
Do something together too. Yeah.
Do some exercise. You know what I'm saying? And she enjoys it once she gets there. In terms of what was the other question? Oh, the 9 to 5 thing. I can't answer that because I've never done that. I've never done that, but I think you answered it perfectly. So there you go. Brian, what else? Do we have a Roland Vixer?
Unfortunately, we do not, but we do have a Nick Bates.
What's up, Mike and Paul? I love the show. It's become my favorite monthly podcast. I just had a question about hydration tests and weight cuts. Do you think the UFC will ever adapt hydration tests or more weight classes to stop the gruesome weight cuts on some of these fighters? Let me know.
Yeah, sorry, I think I laughed over the bulk of his question, but it was basically hydration tests and stuff like that to kind of trim down some of these monstrous weight cuts, like an Alex Pereira dropping down from 234 pounds. Paul.
Yeah, I actually just saw Charles from the PI answering a question like this about the hydration testing being eventually brought into the UFC. And he brought up a really good point where guys are just going to cheat that system. And it actually may be harder on the body for the things. I heard a thing. He was talking about guys that are doing those hydration tests while they're cutting weight. They're holding their pee so they won't urinate on purpose while they're cutting weight, so that the urine in their bladders, when they do eventually piss to take the test, is from when they were hydrated before they started really depleting themselves. So now you're putting even more strain on your kidneys from you holding the urine and then also cutting the weight on top of it. He brought up a good point that it's like, until somehow everyone agrees to stop doing it, how can we do it the safest way possible? And I think the PI being as involved as they are, all of these nutritionists out there that are working with these athletes and really making sure that they do it right, I think it's really just important, and comes down to guys not being lazy in training camp and really losing the weight slowly and then doing a small water cut or even a reasonable water cut. If you do it while you're hydrated throughout camp, you're eating clean, you're losing as much body fat as you can first, and then doing the cut. It's guys that are coming in on short notice and doing stuff like that it can be dangerous. But yeah, I don't see the UFC bringing in the hydration testing anytime soon.
No, it's free will, right? If you want to decide, I'm going to have that, that's up to you, buddy. You know, make your own decisions. You want to take away from your performance, you want to put yourself through that hell, whatever, you know, that's up to you. Okay. We're all human beings and we're all free to make whatever decisions we want. But you've got to make the weight. So first of all, rather than bringing in hydration clauses and this and that and all that type of stuff, just going to have bigger ramifications. The fighters are going to be professional. If they're going to say that I'm going to make weight, if they sign on that dotted line, make weight. If you don't make weight, then there's going to be, people know there's serious consequences. And I think we're starting to see that come in a little bit more. Obviously, we talked about it. We had Brian Battle recently. I mean, we just had Kelvin Gastelum. I mean, you got to think that Kelvin Gastelum was very lucky that he won that fight. Because had he have lost, it probably would have been a good chance that he would have got cut. The dogs are going absolutely insane. What you mentioned about holding the pee. Because when you are dehydrated and you drink a bunch of water, when you first pee that you have, it's still like orangey. Do you know what I mean? Because it does take a while for that to go through your system. I never thought about that. Yeah.
So I never did either. And I knew guys were cheating that system over in One and all the places that are doing that. I knew. I look at them and I can tell that they're somehow you're making that weight and then you're huge in the cage. Like you're doing.
Stop being a pussy bitch. I'm sorry. I'm trying to pick the right words and all the rest of it, but you don't be a pussy bitch and make weight. It's simple as that. Okay. I'm trying to be all bloody blah, blah, blah. No, I never fucking missed weight. You never missed weight, right? Do your job. Show up and do your job. Be professional. You want to talk a good game. You want to act all hard. Say, I do MMA. I fight in the UFC. Well, show up on weight. Cut weight like a man or a woman and save your bullshit excuses. If you don't make it, if you fail, then you're a failure. Simple as that. I got no.
And now there's so many options for you to, or so many, what's the word I'm looking for?
Resources.
Resources. Yes. Thank you. So many resources for you to use. If you're there fight week, they will do all of that for you. And then on top of that, there are independent guys that they specialize in doing that stuff for you.
They will plan the weight cut. They will do your food. They will bring you your food after it's been designed specifically for the amount
you to hydrate.
You need to lose. They will rehydrate you with all the vitamins and the minerals and the electrolytes that you need to perform optimally. And these little soft, still can't make weight. Shut up. Get a grip. Suck it up.
Gastelum's on another level with that shit right now. Like
that's the job.
You just
We're gonna end it there. We're gonna end it there because I don't know what just happened. I'm on a it gets me mad. And I've got a plane to catch. I haven't packed yet. Have you packed?
Oh no.
I did do you do this? I do a preliminary pack.
I 100% do. I organize.
I've done the preliminary pack. All right, the first couple of things, and then it's the bullshit stuff.
Starts with the laundry. I got to do the laundry. Everything's clean that I need. Okay, and then it's all in certain baskets and things, and then I just got to start.
At the end, it's the hardest part because I got to do my TNT Sports UFC 320 preview show. So I got to get the webcam. I got to get the microphone. I got to get all this stuff. I got to get the little thing that goes into the side of the computer because I can't put a USB into the computer. So I got to put it into the adapter. Then I got to get that. Then I got to get a little light. Then I've got to make sure I've got all my vitamins, and Rebecca puts them all into bags for me. So you got my passport. You got your green card. You got your shoes. Oh god damn! I haven't got a tie. I haven't got a bloody pocket square and all that shit. All these tiny little things that take a little bit of time. I've got dress shoes. I've got to bring 2 suits. 2 suits.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring boxing gloves. I'm going to fill up my suitcase. That's the show. We'll be back. Guaranteed. I've got Perillo's wedding next week, which is on a Sunday. I'm staying overnight, but we'll be back next week. Guaranteed. Bye-bye.
At some point.
Are you back?
I'm back, Monday at like 5:30.
Should we just put it out there right now? We'll do a show on it. I've got Contender on Tuesday. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Next week, Thursday?
No, I'm in Vegas.
Oh, man. Wednesday?
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll get it done.
We'll get it.
Bye-bye.